So in the sports of mixed martial arts, there's of course always going to be colourful characters. It's a sport where people go into a cage and beat the shit out of each other. But in a sport full of crazy and violent people, there are crazy and violent people that actually stand out. And the fighter in this video I'm going to talk about stands out in a sport full of violent and crazy people. So the fighter I'm talking about is a Chechen MMA fighter named Shovhal Churchayev. I probably butchered that pronunciation there, but if you go watch this, there's a highlight video on YouTube called Shovhal Churchayev Chechen Gangster or Gangster in MMA, something along them lines. It has gangster in the title. But you will see this guy literally cheap shotting opponents at the bell, attacking people after fights, attacking people's cornermans, starting fights at weigh-ins. Like, this guy is fucking insane. But that's not even the tip of the iceberg. So I was watching this guy's fights. He doesn't, in my opinion, he doesn't seem to be really the greatest fighter. He seems a bit chinny. He got dropped about 3-4 times in one of his fights. He got KO'd in a fight he had. But, in the fights he won, a lot of them he got dropped in. So I don't know. I doubt we see this guy in like the UFC. But there might be a bit of a bigger reason why we don't see this guy in the UFC. So Shovhal was on the podcast with an opponent he was going to fight. This guy was from Iran. This guy was an Iranian fighter by the name of Kaibati. His Muhammad Haibati, was his opponent, and they were on a podcast together. Obviously, I don't speak Russian or Persian or Farsi, whatever, if you call it Persian or Farsi. But I did watch. I couldn't watch the podcast because obviously I'm not going to understand. But from what I gathered, that they're pretty friendly in this podcast. Like, they're talking. Shovehole's calling him brother apparently. They're just being all friendly. That's what I gathered from the comments. He's calling him brother, being all nice to him. They're just acting like, they're respectful opponents. But also, apparently, before this, Shovhal actually showed up to Muhammad's house looking for him with a group of guys. And because Muhammad wasn't there, they sent him a message saying, "We seen your wife," because apparently his wife was the only one home. Like, that is some fucked up shit right there. Like, I don't know. I think it's a bit insane to know where your opponent lives and go to their house and then message, "We seen your wife." Like, that's some shit straight out of, like, Taken. Like, that is some fucked up shit, man. Like, that has got to be some of the weirdest things anyone's ever done. Like, that's some SS sniper wolf shit. Just go into your opponent's house. Like, let's talk, brother. Let's talk. Like, I don't know. That's some weird shit right there. But it gets worse. So everything's civil though in this podcast. They're talking, all buddy buddy and everything. And then I don't know. I have absolutely no clue what happens. But out of nowhere, Shovhole walks over to Muhammad and just starts fucking flooring him with punches. There's like literally no build up to it. There was nothing that would suggest that this was about to happen. He literally starts flooring him with punches, cheap shots, of course, and then pulls out a fucking gun. He clocks his gun. You hear him clock it on the podcast, and he makes him go on his knees and kneel before him, and points a gun at him on a fucking podcast. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? This guy's a fucking psychopath. Like, that. This makes Jorge cheap shotting fucking Colby Covington look like like a civil dispute. This guy pulled out a fucking Glock. Like, what did this guy? What did the guy do to piss him off so much? Like, you showed up to his fucking house. You showed to his house, threatened him for saying about how his wife was there, and then you're the one fucking pulling a gun out. Like, what makes this guy so mad? Like, I don't know. It's weird, but on the podcast, he's literally fucking pointing the gun at him. The podcasters are trying to calm Shovhal down because he's literally pointing a fucking Glock at this guy. Like, I don't think there's a crazier person actively in MMA. This guy got off scot-free. He's not in prison. This guy's just roaming the streets of fucking Grozny, Chechnya, and fucking Moscow, Russia. Apparently he's fine. He's in. He doesn't have to worry about a thing. Apparently, they were saying that maybe he'd get 2 years, but it's been a year, and he's still fighting actively and everything. So I think I think he's all good. I don't think he faced any legal repercussions. He got After he did this, the Iranian embassy was getting on the case and everything, and even the Chechnyan leader Ramazan Kadyrov was saying that he was going to punish uh, Shovhol, but nothing happened. He pretty much got off scot free for fucking attempted murder with a fucking firearm. I don't know what the statute of limitations is and what the how much you get for pointing a fucking Glock at somebody after assaulting them, but yeah, apparently it's not a big deal for this guy. But this guy is generally the fucking biggest psychopath I've ever seen in mixed martial arts. Like, even in all of his fights, he cheap shots his opponents. Or one of his opponents came to hug him after the fight, and he fucking punched him in the face. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, he, I don't know. Like, this guy is generally, there is not something right with him. Like, a lot of fighters, there is not things right in their head. But this guy, in a sport full of people who are fucked in the head, this guy is like extra. Like, he's like an extraterrestrial when it comes to this shit. Like, he is extraordinarily fucked in the head, man. Like I don't know what is wrong with this guy. I doubt we ever see this guy in the UFC though. Like, I was watching, he had a boxing cage match, and the whole fight he's literally waving his head to the ground, swinging overhands. Like, I feel like he fights like a competent striker. This guy's getting fucking knee KO'd or fucking kicked in the head or something, or uppercut KO'd. He literally swings overhands and then ducks his head down. But who knows, man? Maybe this guy will go on to do something, and maybe we'll see this guy fucking pulling guns on the fucking lightweight division. Maybe this guy will be fucking have Islam Makhachev or fucking Justin Gaethje or Dustin Poirier or fucking Michael Chandler at gunpoint for all we know, or Charles Oliveira. Like, this guy is fucking crazy. He's nuts. Uh, yeah, man. Like, Shov, I hope I'm pronouncing his name properly. I think it's Shovkal Cherchkayev. Churchaev. That's how you spell his name. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. But I can't think of anybody like, obviously there's a few fighters who are probably like 1-0 or 0-1, or like some amateurs or something who have gone on to commit atrocious crimes. But this guy's got a career in combat sports. This guy's an active fucking fighter on the Russian regional scene. Like, this guy's a guy with a name, like an actual like. What's his record? I think he's like 5-0 in MMA, and then he's got a bunch of modified rules bouts. He's the 260th, 206 ranked lightweight, sorry, in Russia. He's 5-1, so, but he's got a bunch of modified rules fights. He got KO'd in an exhibition bout, lost to a guy in who was 0-0, now 1-2. Like, he hasn't beat anybody good or anything. Oh, he beat a 5-0 guy in his debut, but that's it. But then he fought a bunch of like boxing cage matches, all the boxing matches and cages. Hasn't I don't think he's fought since this incident, but Apparently, he's had fights booked according to his Instagram, but Tapology doesn't register them or anything. But it seems like he has had some fights booked. He does seem to be out and about. See, he posted a video of him fucking driving around. So the guy's free. The guy hasn't been, he hasn't got the old Kadyrov disappearing trick done to him either. So he's all good. But yeah, the guy's just roaming around Russia apparently in fucking high spirits. Uh, yeah, I I don't know what else to say about this guy. He's fucking insane. Like, if you can find me a fighter who's like active, who isn't well known, who's like crazier than this guy, let me know. But I feel like this guy might be the craziest guy in fucking MMA, which really says a lot because like MMA is a crazy ass sport. But if you enjoyed this video of me talking about Mr. Shovhole Churchkiev, uh, I hope you liked this. I hope you learned something. I hope you haven't heard of this guy before. If you haven't, I would suggest to go research this guy. Just look at some of the crazy shit this guy's done. He's fucking insane, man. But yeah, if and also if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Completely forgot to mention him completely jumping into the crowd and fighting some guy who was apparently a hater. Like, we see some fighters and we're like, damn, it's just a fan. Don't be so mad. This guy literally goes in and fucking fights the haters. Like he literally ran at the guy and like fucking Superman punched him. So I forgot to mention that. I'm sure there's more incidents. I just don't speak Russian, so it'll be a lot really hard for me to find all these videos because a lot of these are in Russian. But yeah, the guy's insane. That's pretty much the gist of it. This guy's fucking nuts. But yeah, thanks for watching. I just thought I'd add this little update.